I mean, we literally have you, Arnold, in this documentary pretty much to thank for bodybuilding culture that exploded into the 80s. Have you ever like just sat down and like stopped to think about just how much influence, I mean, you've had on our culture yourself?
Oh yeah, because when I came out with the Hulk series, that's before they came out with these action movies, because the Hulk was the first one that people got to see the real muscles on TV. So that changed everybody's perception what a bodybuilder is. And then eventually Stallone comes along, Arnold comes along to do the film that we were accepted to do movies. Now we have to look like Errol Flynn, or maybe or if you're a large, like for example, if you're a large bodybuilder, you can't get you're kind of like typecast. So they all broke the typecast, because now you see The Rock, you see all these like Hugh Jackman, everybody's buffed, everybody's working out, but it's being accepted because. And the best part is that for me, when I was on Celebrity Apprentice, they expected to see no all born, no brain. So I changed that because it's all about challenges. But the movie really changed a lot, because even till today, when people see the pumping iron, can never be duplicated, because back then we had what you call camaraderie. There's no camaraderie today, because back then, first prize was $750. We had to have a job, we had to feed ourselves. It's not like we get a check for $150,000, 400,000. So it was a different time era. The beauty was the love of the sport.
Well, and you didn't have the ability to become like a social media influencer and get passive income that way. You know what I mean? Like they have now. I mean, so many of the bodybuilders now have, Instagram and all these things, and they have ways to monetize, even just filming their own workouts.
Yeah, because back then the only thing you go by is the magazine, the publicity in the magazine. What changed me, for example, when I did the Hulk series, I was on talk shows. I had a chance to travel all over the world. And then since the Hulk, I've done over 50 films. I've done 6 different TV series, and I'm working all the time. But it all comes back to the beginning, when you come from. You can't forget where you come from. That's why bodybuilding is my life. That's why it's so nice you have a co-ed sport. You see men, women competing. It's so different today, because the time when I was training for competition, it was only a male sport. You never
Yeah.
see a woman in the gym. So, back then, you were doing bonding. You were like being a war. You go to the gym, you had to be a real man. I mean, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
So the documentary comes out, it explodes. You start getting calls for TV and film roles. What events lead up to you being cast as the Incredible Hulk? What is the story there?
I was top cast because the fact that people thought that I was very limited. They felt like after the Hulk TV series that that could be the end of my career. But the thing is, I ended up doing stage plays, theater. I've taken voice lessons. I've taken speech lessons to change my speech. And also about 2.5 years ago, I received a cochlear implant. So that had a huge impact on me. So basically, I'm the kind of person that I maximize what I have. But I'm very proud, because I'm a fighter. I can't take no for an answer, and I just love challenges, because we're on this planet for a short time. That's why I never want to sit back at the age of 80, 85, say I should have, if. Yep.
I want to ask you about Bill Bixby. I mean, what's even more incredible to me about your role as the Hulk is you were only one side of the Hulk. Here you have Bill Bixby,
Yeah.
as Bruce Banner, and yet when people think of the show, they probably think of you first. When did you first meet Bill, and what sticks out to you about that first meeting?
Well, I was a fan of Bill when he did the movie called TV series, The Magician. Of course, it was at his father.
That was
But
one of my
Bill,
favorite shows as a kid. I love that show.
yeah. And Bill told me that the first day he was on the set, I first met him when I was doing the audition for the Hulk. I never met a celebrity before. So when I saw him, I'm saying to myself, I'm painting green. They're asking me to imitate the Hulk, to make the growl, the different sound. At the same time I'm watching him, he's watching me with the director. And Bill said to me, I'll never forget, when you came to the set, you see all these trucks, you look at the studio, the look on your face like you were in a different world. And Bill is my second father. I've learned so much from him. He taught me so much, especially I watch him learn. But I was like being a good actor, being very professional.
Is there one story that sticks out to you from your time shooting the show that you'll never forget?
Well, I remember, I think it was the second season. I think I was filming in Venice Beach. I was in the motorhome, and somebody knocked on my door. I was in full makeup. I was having a cup of coffee. So they kept knocking. I screamed. I said, come in. I wasn't looking. The door opened. The guy walked in. He got salt pepper hair, and he got dark glasses. and they had a kid with him. He closed the door and he looked at me. He goes, "Excuse me, my name is Cary Grant. I'm here from England with my nephew." And I didn't know what to say, what to do. I mean, I couldn't speak. I was so mesmerized. He must have really thought I was really the Hulk. That to me has such an impact because I knew how popular the show was. That one of the greatest movie stars of all time comes to my motorhome to visit me. That was quite a treat.
So at this point in your career, you'd been bodybuilding for decades, but I read somewhere that you considered your work in Hercules to be the best you ever looked. But then a minute ago, you just said that you had to do different things to stay in condition. Was it the fact that you were doing these different things that helped you achieve that, or something else entirely?
My goal was that I said to myself, I want to make this movie Hercules, that the body would never be duplicated, because 40 years later, no one had that look on the screen. No one. And I just knew that movie's permanent, because when you film in 2 or 3 months, you're going to maintain that same condition. It's not like you're training for competition, then you go off your diet a week later. So for me, I had to maintain that same condition for 3 months, even though we had to shoot the movie in different sequences.
When you finally saw Hercules on the big screen for the first time, what do you remember about that moment? I mean, if it was for me, I would think it would be like permanently etched in my memory.
Well, it was great because we had a premiere and they had me come down Sunset Boulevard in a chariot dressed as Hercules. And I remember I had my huge fan base, my bodybuilding friends, producers, directors. And I saw on the big screen, I was very impressed because to see myself outside of the Hulk makeup as me, it was a real treat. I was very excited. I was very impressed.
So I'm watching the series The Offer, and the initial scene with the character Lenny Montana comes on, and I go, "Holy crap, that's Lou Ferrigno!" It was such a joy to see you in this, and it's one of my favorite miniseries of the last 5 years. And you being Italian, I'm largely Italian. There you are playing Lenny Montana, who was playing Luca Brasi, alongside of like Miles Teller, Colin Hanks, Matthew Good, and so many others. How did your casting for that show come about? I mean, you were absolutely perfect for it.
Well, they approached me and everything, and I did the audition for it. But what's interesting, in 1970, when the movie first came out, I remember I was sitting with a group of friends, and they were the older guy. He was talking about the beginning of the movie. He was talking about Luca Brasi and The Godfather, Marlon Brando. And I remember I was trying to listen to the conversation. My hearing wasn't perfect, but I was so engulfed in the conversation, the way they talk about The Godfather. And I said to myself, being the offer, it's like going back in the past to say, "Hey, everybody, I'm going to play Luca Brasi," because I did a lot of research, because Luca Brasi was a hitman. And he killed people because he was very indebted to his boss. So I really related to that character. I was so excited because it came so natural for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, and the scene and with the cards and everything, I was like, like I said, it was like, I'm like, holy, I wasn't expecting it. And then there you were. And it was like, holy crap, there's Lou Ferrigno. That's awesome.
The only difficult part about the offer is that was filmed during COVID. We had to be tested every day. We couldn't have family, friends on the set. So I was hoping that would happen, have like a big red carpet, because of the COVID situation. So basically we had to wear a mask. And then, but I just love working with those actors, because the director, I forgot his name, Dexter Fletcher, he directed, a British director. It was beautiful, especially the set, especially the background, the wine, the cappuccino, the actor. I had a wonderful time.
It's just a feat that people don't appreciate how difficult it is.
How many people didn't realize what it's taken to get The Godfather made, or the threats, the shooting, the gang, Frank Sinatra, the studio, Paramount Studio, the whole beginning. It's amazing, because people thought it was just a simple movie to get made, but especially Pacino, they wanted to reject him because he was like the midget considering Paramount Studios. It's like a brief little history. It was wonderful.
Yeah, the hurdles that they had to go through to make that movie is incredible. But I just thought your participation in the series was just a very pleasant surprise, and it had to be surreal making a show about a film, possibly the single greatest film of all time, for that matter. I mean, what was outside of the COVID challenges? I mean, and you also had a great cast around you. I mean, what was that experience like?
Well, you got that actor Juno Temple. I mean, especially the different actors like. It was incredible, especially when you're together with them. The performance was incredible, because there was a lot of good scenes that they had to cut because they had to tailor-made the show. If they ever see these other scenes, but every episode we had a different, what you call Academy Award director. So I filmed like maybe 9 episodes out of 11, But I couldn't wait to get to the set because, especially when you're on the set, the background, the way it was filmed, it reminds you back in the 70s when the Godfather was made, and then what was New York back like in the 70s.
Kind of wrapping it up here, I want to go back to the Hulk one last time. Considering how connected you are with that character in the public consciousness, I wonder, especially knowing now that Hercules was, your more favorite role, was there ever a point where you felt kind of like Leonard Nimoy did about Spock, not wanting to be associated with it anymore? Because I mean, Leonard famously wrote 2 books. One, I Am Not Spock, and then much later, I Am Spock. Have you ever had that kind of relationship with the Hulk? I mean, what does the character mean to you after all these years?
Well, the Hulk began with me. I mean, I can make 7 Gone with the Wind movies tomorrow. Everybody would love me to see me as the Hulk. Of course, the fact that they know I'm an actor, I could play different roles. But the beauty about the Hulk is the fact that it got me started. It would be me till I pass on, because a lot of people actually have TV series, they're forgotten. But because I kept that character alive, that's why I do a lot of comic convention. I still a huge draw, and the older I get, the more popular I am, because now we have the Marvel Universe, and we have the different characters. But people go back, like for example, William Shatner. The guy, he's like, he came out in the 60s. It's like me, him, the few of us left with the original TV series. And it's so iconic. That's why I'm very blessed to have that, because everybody identifies me as the Hulk, which I don't mind because of respect. It's a love relationship. Because even though, I mean, I've done over 50 films, but I'll be making a lot more film. But the thing is that I'm always close to the Hulk. That's why I talked to Kevin Feige. He's the head of Marvel. I said, I want to be involved in the Marvel Universe as a different kind of a character, like a Nick Fury kind of a character. Because when I began this the pilot of the Hulk, Spider-Man and Captain America failed at the TV series. I was nervous, but the Hulk taken off. Became a huge hit, and that's why you see all these A-list actors today playing these different films, because thanks to my TV series, because it opened all the doors.
Lou, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. And we on the Gulf Coast can't wait to see you at this year's Pensacon in Pensacola, Florida this spring. Ladies and gentlemen, Lou Ferrigno.
Thank you for your patience having me to speak to you tonight, because I know I'm in the process of traveling, but thanks for having me on your show.
No, thanks for being on. You've been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lou Ferrigno.
Thank you.